Oh, hello, this is Tak Chong from Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you like broccoli and would like to cook broccoli anytime you want during the week, then this is a video for you. Both my wife and I love broccoli, and broccoli is one of the go-to dishes. And we probably eat broccoli about twice a week in different type of combinations with other vegetables or meat. And therefore, I always have some broccoli in my advanced prepping, and stir-frying of broccoli could not be simpler. And it usually takes less than 5 or 7 minutes. And the best part of that is that you can create a multitude of broccoli dishes as shown here. Recently, my friend Robert suggested to me that perhaps I should have a video on how to prep broccoli because one of his friends asked him what is the best way to prep broccoli for stir-frying. I thought that is a very good idea. Now, there are many ways to prep broccolis, but in this video, I'm going to show you how I prep broccoli in fitting of my advanced prepping. I bought this broccoli at a local supermarket. This broccoli costs about $2. Now, when you look at this broccoli, you can appreciate the importance of advanced prepping. This broccoli is normally too much for the single meal, but if you can split it up through advanced prepping, you can use it for many different dishes. I use a medium-sized cutting board. This cutting board is made up of a composite plastic material. This cutting board has a nice place that you can hang it up, which I hang it up next to my kitchen cabinet. And on top of that, the edge of the cutting board is slightly raised, and it is rubbery, so it would prevent the cutting board from slipping, which is very useful. And the cutting board has two sides. The front side is completely flat, whereas the back side has groove that can allow you to catch any fluid that might come from the material that you are cutting. I normally use a ceramic knife to do all my vegetable prepping. This ceramic knife has a wider blade, which is perfect for prepping vegetables. If you'd like to learn more about this vegetable ceramic knife, you can take a look at this video. I prefer ceramic knife over other types of knives because ceramic knife stays sharp for much longer. I also have a steel vegetable knife, and I use that when I want to cut something that is hard. Even though ceramic knives stay sharp much longer, but they are more brittle and they can chip easily. Here I want to demonstrate to you why I prefer the ceramic knife. Now here is a handheld knife sharpener that I use to sharpen my steel knife because steel knife dulls much quicker than ceramic knife. Here I demonstrate how to use this knife sharpener to sharpen my steel knife. This sharpener actually works quite well, but the knife has to be relatively sharp. If the knives become too dull, then this knife sharpener would not work at all. After pulling through the knife sharpener about 10 times, I can feel the edge that is become sharper. One of the time-honored way to test the sharpness of a knife is a test known as a paper test. You simply take a piece of paper and you see whether you can slice through the paper with your knife. Well, the result is not so good. Even I have sharpened this steel knife. Looks like the paper is not going to give way. I think the steel knife is just not sharp enough. Even I have worked on it for a little while. Okay, let's now try the ceramic vegetable knife, which I have been using it for the past 8 months. Well, at least in this case, the ceramic knife has won because it slides through the paper without any problem. And this is the reason that I prefer ceramic knife, because they stay sharp for much longer. Of course, ceramic knife eventually will get dull, but it takes them about several years to get dull, and at that time you can simply buy another one because they are relatively inexpensive. Broccoli is probably one of the easiest prep to do. It literally takes only about 3 or 4 minutes. I turn the broccoli upside down and I use my knife to snip off the floret. I cut them very close to the base of the floret. There's a reason for doing that because I can make the pieces more even at the end. When I was teaching my cooking classes, one of the students asked me, so how big should you cut the floret? Here are 4 possible sizes of broccoli that you can cut into. The number 1 is probably not a good size. First of all, it is too large. It would take more time to cook. And secondly, is that it would not fit in the mouth properly. And from the cooking standpoint, number 4 is probably the best because the smaller the pieces are, the faster it is going to be cooked in the wok. However, when the pieces are too small, they do not have the same culinary experience as the pieces is just about the right size. There's a tendency for them to blend with other ingredients in the dish. So from that standpoint, number 2 and number 3 is probably the best size. It is small enough that it could cook rapidly, but it's also large enough that it will provide good taste and flavor. So after I cut off the floret, I'm going to trim them to the size that I want, which is somewhere between number 2 and 3 as shown in the previous figure. And my goal is to cut them to approximately the same size. They will allow you to cook the broccoli more evenly. Over the years, I have experimented with different sizes of the broccoli, and this appeared to be the best size. It provides the best flavor and it fit into the mouth very well. At the same time, it cooked relatively fast. And then I transfer them into a 3-cup the Rubbermaid take-along plastic container. This 1 head of broccoli give me enough floret to fill 2 of these plastic containers. So through advanced prepping, this will give me 2 meals. And when I prep my broccoli like this, I usually will have a shelf life between 7 to 10 days. But for me, I usually use it up in about a week. So what am I going to do with the stem? And like most people, I used to throw them away. But now I save them. I first cut off the dry portion at the tip of the stem, and then I slice it into thin pieces. Now during this part of cutting, the proper knife skill is really important. You notice that I use a technique known as the claw technique. I hold down the stem of the broccoli like a claw of, say, a bird. I tuck the tip of my finger inside my hand. Now I now turn the stem around, and now I start to slide them in a different direction. Now I cut them into very thin strips. Again, I'm using this method so I keep my finger out of harm's way so I will not cut myself. You can take a look at this video to learn more about how to use this cutting technique. And if you do not feel confident in handling a knife in the kitchen, it is well worthwhile for you just take a few minutes to learn this cutting technique. And next, I turn the cutting board crosswise and I start to chop them into small pieces. As we are doing this, you probably wonder, what are you going to do with the broccoli stem? Well, first of all, the broccoli stem actually is very tasty and delicious. This is probably one of many ways that you can prep the broccoli stem. Instead of chopping them, some people cut them into small pieces and stir-fry them together with the floret. And the reason I chop them up because I'm going to use them in a fried rice. I just use them in my basic fried rice template and add them to the fried rice like I would add any other vegetables. And by cutting them up into small pieces, they cook much faster. This is definitely a good way to use up the broccoli stem. I also have other dishes that I use them in. So as you can see here, I'm able to make use of the entire head of the broccoli. This might not save me a lot of money, but it certainly makes me feel good about that I am not making any part of the broccoli go to waste. So with my advanced prepping, I take a head of broccoli and divide them into these 3 different containers that I could use over the period of a week. This takes me about somewhere between 10 to 12 minutes to accomplish. And I do this in the beginning of the week. So when I'm ready to cook, I have all these ingredients ready on hand. Advanced prepping is the key to my fast cooking system, which include also flavor chasing, stir frying, and template-based cooking. I post a video each day to help you make home cooking as part of your daily routine using my fast cooking system. So keep on cooking. I will see you tomorrow.